Hey everybody, quick setup for today's session. I have my black cables down off the handlebars, so for some upper body work and for some oblique work. Let's see, red pole, have it handy for balance. And then we're also going to be doing stationary lunge today, which I haven't recorded yet. Stationary lunge is off the back when you have the red cables in your hands. And I know some of you don't have room off the back of your machine to use the red cables in a lunge. So lucky you, when we get to stationary lunge, you can revisit super lunge. Fun for you. And super lunge springs will be a little bit different, and I'll specify that when we get there. So when we hit stationary lunge, again, if you don't have room back here, you're going to be in super lunge. Modifications, as always, anything at the back can be done at the front. I'll try to remind you. Smaller range of motion is going to make it easier. Anytime we're in the plank, you can always be down on your knees. And with that, we'll get started. Thank you, Jessica, for demoing. Per Jessica's request, we're going to start laying on our back with some cables. We'll hit a little bit of abs first, and then we'll put our feet in the straps. So about one red, and I would say 2 to 3 yellows for most of you. I like the spring load to be a little bit heavier when my feet are in the straps, just I got strong inner thighs. So at least one red on there, yellows up on top of it. We're going to lay down with the cables in your hands. So once you lay down, if you chose a heavier spring load, you might take the longer straps in your hands or scoot yourself so that your head is closer to the springs, and that will make the cables feel a little lighter here. When you're ready, anchor your rib cage down, extend your arms up just like Jessica has, feel the shoulders engage, and we'll go ahead and bring the knees into a tabletop bend. So knees are right over your hips. You could point your toes or flex your feet, doesn't matter to me. I want you to think about how you're holding your pelvis right now, where your thigh bones insert into your pelvis. Try not to let the pelvis move. Get the back of the pelvis really heavy. Take a big inhale. We're going to keep the knees bent. As you exhale, let's start to press forward with your arms. Start to lift just the shoulder blades up off the carriage, gazing kind of over the knees. Reach forward with the arms. Squeeze your inner thighs. Try to squeeze your butt cheeks here. And then really slow, keep your knees together as you go back down. So the arms will come up, your head will slowly rest, your shoulder blades will touch the carriage. You could burn an extra breath here if you need. Take a big, strong push on your next one. Nice, slow movements. And then resist as you bring it back down. So we're warming up the core a little bit so that when we put our feet into the straps, it's a little bit more core focused. So the feet in the straps is not typically like a warm-up exercise. You want your pelvis, your spine nice and stable for those movements. So we're warming that up now. All I want you to do now, we're not going to be here forever, is really focus on how you're initiating the lift, right? Don't lift your shoulders. Engage the core to peel your spine up, engaging that whole front body. Nice and slow, about 15 more seconds. Don't be afraid to hold at the top. When you're up at the top, adjust how you hold your neck up there. Make sure the shoulders, again, are still depressed and your knees are still touching. For me, when I start to go down, my knees tend to come a sliver apart. Keep that pelvic floor strong. Good, next one, lift it all the way up. Press the arms forward, straight, strong elbows. Extend your legs out. If that's too much, if you're like, oh no, you could lift your legs up higher. Take one big inhale. And then we're going to start to pump the arms. It's going to be exhale, 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 inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale, 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 inhale, inhale, inhale. So it's literally, so 3 exhales and 3 inhales. This is your 100. We're going to maintain this for another 20 seconds. It's fairly difficult. Right after this, your head will come down. This looks awesome, Jess. Strong, strong arms, you guys. We're going to put our feet in the straps. And we're going to start by just moving the legs up and down, stretching into the hamstrings, focusing on keeping that long neutral spine. In 5, up a little higher, legs maybe a little lower. Awesome. 3, 2, 1. Great job. So shimmy your feet into the long loops. I like to make sure my feet are evenly hooked into the straps. And then I like to scooch my body down the carriage a little bit. It'll make the springs feel a little heavier, but also if you're wearing slippery pants or whatever, you're not sliding around. I like my hands on the little eyelets at the bottom. Take a second to open your collarbones. Take a second to anchor your rib cage down below you. Get the back of the pelvis heavy. Now, think about your pelvis again. As the legs move around, we try not to move the pelvis. Slowly as you can, core nice and tight. You're going to start to pull the legs towards the front platform. Inner thighs are squeezing, firing the hamstrings and buns. You want to come as low as you can without letting your pelvis tip to adjust, right? And then really slow, your legs are coming back up. You want to keep your tailbone on the carriage. So as your legs come up, if your hamstrings are real tight, you're probably going to stop when your legs are either straight up or maybe further forward than straight. If you have really open hamstrings, some of you might be able to bring your feet more over your navel or over your chest, but not letting the tailbone peel up. And then give me one more like that, just nice and slow, pulling down. Feel your core so tight right now, you guys. Make it a core effort. Squeeze your heels together, chin towards the throat. Anchor those front ribs down, nice. And then again, let the legs come up. Squeeze your feet together. Inner thighs are engaged all the way through. Nice. Now on your next one, as you come up to your kind of stretching into your hamstring point, try to squeeze the butt there. Anchor the lower abs in. Now you're going to start to pull down through the middle. As you get down towards that bottom spot where your pelvis wants to tip, but you're not going to let it, you're going to start to open out into a big wide circle. Try to keep even tension on the cables. Try to keep your toes from rotating out further. So internally rotate a little bit. Yep, exactly. And then up at the top again, pelvis is still, you're squeezing your legs back together, and then hamstring glutes pull the legs down. So every time you open out into your big wide circle, you're trying to push that range of motion. Try to keep your legs in the same rotation though through the movement. You're not externally rotating more or less through the movement. Abs are nice and tight, shoulders are depressed, neck is nice and long, bring the chin down slightly, perfect. Get big wide one on these next one or two. Just a couple more in this direction, and then we'll switch directions. So right now, you're stretching and strengthening your inner thighs. You're stretching through the hips. Really great lumbar pelvic stability. So that's the core work coming in. Big inhales, big exhales, straight, strong legs. If it feels like it's pulling on the groin, bend your knees just a sliver. Good. Last one, best one like this. We'll circle the feet back up together at the top and then squeeze there. Squeeze your legs together. Anchor the core in. And then now we'll start at the top. Start to separate your feet first, pushing out into your down circles, circling gradually back down, around, together at the bottom, squeeze through the calves, and then super slow motion, you're squeezing your legs together as you resist and come up. Remember, the tailbone stays down. Maybe your hamstrings are opening a little bit, so you might be able to get the feet a little closer to your chest, or to being above your chest, rather. Nice big slow circles here. So this will be your only kind of adventure into the inner thighs today. Nice opening of the hips, nice awareness for the core. Make these last one or two your very, very best. Good. Start to circle the feet back down, around together at the bottom. Once you're at the bottom, turn your toes out a little bit. Reach the heel or the balls of your feet forward, kind of like a Barbie doll. Yeah, exactly. And then from here, you're going to start to separate your feet. Imagine they're on an imaginary horizontal track. They don't drop lower, they don't come higher. Now, when your feet are wide like this, I want you to focus on the abs for a second. Lift through the pelvic floor, squeeze your butt cheeks, and then squeeze your legs energetically back together. Keep reaching forward through the balls of your feet like little Barbie dolls, and then slowly opening. Nice. You can flex your feet a little bit more just so you don't lose the strap. Good. Awesome. Bringing them all the way together and then opening all the way out. Feels so good, she says. Awesome. Next one, bring it in. Open your feet just about hips distance. And now, not your toes. Don't think your toes. Think your upper inner thighs. Internally rotate your thighs as much as you can. Might not look like much. Your toes might point more up than inwards. But you're trying to spin the seam of your inner thighs inwards. Exactly. Now do the same thing in internal rotation. So you're separating your feet. It's probably not going to be as big. That's fine. And then squeeze your big toes all the way together. It's difficult. We very rarely do internal rotation. To be honest, we should all do more of it. It's difficult. Nice and slow. Just a few more seconds here. Legs are straight and strong. Thighs are working internally. 5 seconds. 4, I'm gonna let Jessica go real external on the next one. It's her favorite. And 2, now stop your feet about hips distance. Rotate your toes outwards, externally rotate. You gotta squeeze your heels together for this one. So your heels are together, your toes are rotated out, anchor the lower abs, and begin to bend your knees. Your knees wanna go about the width of your shoulders, about right there. Squeeze those heels together like you're holding one strand of my hair between your heels, and then press it all the way out to straight. The lower you aim, the harder it is, but try to keep your heels touching. It'll stop you from hyperextending as you push away. Good. Sorry, I forgot my shoes today, so I'm wearing slides, waddling around. Good. All the way to straight. Heels stay touching, not hyperextending, and then bending all the way in. Use this as your core again, right? Re-engage those lower abs, the pelvic floor. Big old inhales, big old exhales. Awesome. We're gonna be spinning around from here. This is your last 10 seconds or so. You're gonna keep the strap on the right side once you're flipped around. I'm gonna say anywhere from 2, maybe 3, or even 4 yellows. 4 is crazy. It's scrambled eggs on the right side. In 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So keep going once you flip around on your right side. I recommend 2 or 3 yellows. You're pretty fresh in the upper body, so you might be able to push it a little bit today. Hands by your springs, left knee slightly left of 6. Start with your right leg back behind you, slightly on a diagonal, kind of like you're aiming towards that back handlebar, and then slowly you're gonna start to sweep your right leg down and forward. Hardest part here is keeping the hips really level. And Jess, you might even scooch more towards the right side of the carriage. So scoot your left, yeah, there you go. That way your leg can clear the carriage. Awesome. So a lot of booty work here. This right butt is working, your left butt is working, and you're also getting that oblique work, that anti-rotation. Awesome. Lean a little bit more into that right arm. And then the range of motion can totally be smaller here. Awesome. Good. Scooch your left knee a little bit more left. Sorry. There you go. Awesome. Right hip is dropping. Think about squeezing both of your butt cheeks. Hug your outer upper arms in. Just 10 seconds. We're not here forever. Little challenge is coming. Now, when we come into this challenge, I want you to focus just like we did when we were laying on our back with the feet in the straps, not moving your pelvis or anything else for that matter. So next one. Sweep your right leg back, hold it back behind you, take a second, make sure the hips are leveling out. Now, we're gonna lower the right leg 1 inch, and then we're gonna lift it 1 inch. Use that booty, also use your core. 1 inch down, yeah, 1 inch up. So strong, Jess, abs so tight, 1 inch down, lift it 1 inch up. Now hold it, now think about the core work. I want you to start to draw little circles in one direction with your right big toe. Yes, so good, Jess. Abs are tight, arms are so strong. We're breathing really deep for 5. We're gonna switch the directions. In 3, 2, hold it for a second, strong arms. Go the other way. This is your last 10 seconds here. We're gonna ditch the strap. 1 red, I would say, 3 or 4 yellows for spider kick. In 2 and 1, awesome. So string change again, I know. 1 red at least, 2, 3, or 4 yellows on top. Face towards your right so that your right heel is on the bar by your right shoulder. Spider kick. Did you mean side kick? No, other way. So you said spider kick, darling. So on your knees, facing the other way. Ooh. This way. Spider kick. This way. Spider kick. Right heel on the bar. Is this not the one you meant?
No, but I like this one.
Cool.
Sorry.
She requested a spider kick. This is spider kick.
I do like this one.
But apparently she called it by the wrong name. Which one did you want to do? Side kick? Oh, okay. Noted. Anyways, this will be, she'll thank me later for this one.
I like this one too.
So back into that right hip. You've got a massive external rotation. Your shoulders, your hips are square to the wall in front of you. You want to make sure your right heel is connecting into the bar. Your right knee is kind of rotating out and up. You're going towards almost straight with your right leg, not locking out the knee. And then you're really, really slow. You want to bend that right knee a lot to where you feel like you're almost bound up there. Think about when you do bend the knee there, not allowing your spine to shift. Keep your heart pulling forward, your neck really long. Awesome. Next one, start to bend the right knee in as much as you can bend it, but still keep pushing into your heel. It's pretty difficult. Hold it there. Ooh, yeah, I can feel it. Hold it here. Breathe. Now slowly squeeze your butt cheek first and push it out 1 tiny inch. Yes, Jessica. And then come in 1 tiny inch. Yes. Now squeeze your butt cheek again and then push it out 1 tiny inch. So strong. Bring it in 1 tiny inch. You're almost there. 4 seconds. 1 inch out. Stay with it. 1 inch in. Squeeze that butt cheek. Go back to full range. You've only got 10 seconds here. We're going to drop it down to 1 yellow. 2 is going to be way harder for back lunge. In 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Drop it down to 1 yellow. Push yourself on up to the back. Your right foot hops over the back platform. Left foot hooks up with the strap. Now, if you needed to modify this one, you could take floor lunge or front floor lunge up at the front. First thing you're going to do is square your hips, extend your left leg back, maybe lean a little bit forward, and begin to bend down low into your right knee. Your knee stays stacked right over your ankle. It's your hips that travel back and down. It's like a reverse hamstring curl. Pressing into the right heel to rise. You try not to lock your knee at the top. Keep a juicy bend in the knee each and every time. You've got those bars there to support you. Your form looks perfect right now, Jess. Couple things to think about here as we get warmed up into it. If you felt any pressure in your lower back, definitely lean a little bit forward. If you're feeling a lot of pulling at the front of your left hip, kind of same goes. Bend the left knee a little bit, lean a little bit more forward. Try to start to push yourself as we warm up into the hips, right? As we stretch the front of the hips, try to start to get a little bit lower. One of my favorite parts about this exercise at the bottom is really cultivating that core engagement. So each time I hold at the bottom, there's a squeeze of the inner thighs, there's a push into the right heel, there's that bracing of the core before I start to rise up. Now next one, let's go ahead and bring it down to the bottom. Just a low hold here. Again, soften your arms if you're using those bars. Set back into your right heel. Beautiful adjustment. Let's see if we can just sink it in a little bit lower. And we're just holding here. Breathing here. Mouth the shoulders down. What about a little bit lower? It feels so good. Hold it down. Hold it down. Now take an inhale. Come up just 1 inch. Hold it right there. 1 inch. Abs are tight. Butts are squeezing. Come up 1 more inch. Hold it. Yes, perfect, Jess. Do it again. Come up 1 more inch. Hold it here. And now all the way back down, Yes, to rise all the way up. You've only got 15 itty bitty baby seconds. Now, you're going to keep your left foot hooked against the strap for this transition. You're going to bend your left knee forward to protect your back as you reach down and grab the red cables. Express in 3, 2, 1. Good job. So kind of bend your left knee a little bit. Keep your foot strapped so you can reach the cables. And then use the black handles next to you to carefully get that right foot up onto the platform. Right foot is straight ahead. Left toes are back. Now, we're going to be bending into the right knee, coming down low into your lunge. So back to back on that hamstring pulling lunge. Slowly we rise to the top. Now you have your cables in your hands. That's there to help you stay in the lunge. I see a lot of people in classes dropping their red cables, which is super extra spicy, no doubt, for balance and everything else. But I also see that it makes them lean forward in their right knee. It also forces them to actually fully straighten their leg a lot more often than they would if they had the red cables. So use the cables. Try to layer these reps together, one on top of the next. Good. Next one. Let's come down to the bottom and hold it there. Just breathe. Feel this hamstring just radiating fire right now. Set a little lower. Good. We've got a couple of, like 3 back-to-back challenges here. We're going to focus on tempo. So sink in a little bit lower, low as you can get. And now squeeze that right butt cheek so tight. Start to rise up for 8, real slow. 7, use the cables if you need them. 5, slower. 4, don't lock that knee. 3, 2, take it right back down. 7, 6, you're coming to the bottom. 5, all the way down, maybe a little lower this time. In 3, 2, low as you can get, come a little lower on 1, hold it here, just a few seconds holding. Your abs are tight, your shoulders are depressed, your neck is long, your breath is deep. 3 seconds, take an inhale, rise up. 8, 7, 6, so good. 5, awesome, just 4, don't lock it. 3, right back down. 7, 6, last time like this. 4, all the way down, sink in, push yourself. 3, 2, low as you can hold. This is where we finish it off. We're breathing, we're holding, it feels so good. Hold it for 4. You totally got this. Can you push it deeper? I think you can. For 3, ooh, ooh, ooh. 2, rise. 8, slow. 7, slow. 6, 5, try not to lock it. 4, 3, 2, take it right back down. You've got 15 seconds of motion. You are good to go. Now, we're gonna be stepping off the back, last 8 seconds here. I'm gonna give Jessica 2 yellows. So 2 yellows is great, 3 is harder, 1 is a mod. If you don't have room at the back, you're in super lunge. In 3, 2, 1, awesome. So we're gonna take our stationary lunge with a bicep curl. Your right foot is forward on the floor, your left toes take a big step back, just like the super lunge setup. If you're in super lunge, I'm gonna say maybe 1 red or 4 yellows so you can activate that bicep curl as well. Nice and slow, we're gonna bend the knees, right knee stays right over the ankle, back heel stays lifted really high. The movement is really slow. You're trying to come down real low. I want you to try to get that right thigh parallel to the floor. Hardest part, 100% right now, is going to be trying to train the muscles to stay in the fight. Your brain is gonna want you to straighten that right leg completely as your heart rate gets up higher. Let's keep the heart rate elevated. Let's burn some extra calories. Let's break a little sweaty sweat. Even lower, Jessica. Yes, awesome. Next stays long. If you feel pressure in your back, lean a little forward. If it's a lot on your shoulders, keep your elbows a little bit lower. What I like to do is kind of keep my elbows low as I'm curling in. And then when I'm down in my deepest lunge, I kind of lift them a little bit higher. Guess what happens? My heart rate gets higher. My buns burn a little more. My abs have to work harder. It's spicy. You will get out of it what you put into it. On your next one, meet me low. Let's come all the way down. Hold it down at the bottom. Breathe in and squeeze. Sink it a little lower. Press that right heel through the earth. Like push it down. Hold it here. Breathe. Feels delightful. Come a little lower. Now slowly, just your arms. I'm not gonna hold you here long. If it's too heavy, keep your elbows lower. 6 seconds, sink lower in your right leg. Yes. Feels so good. 4 seconds. Don't do it. We don't even need to. We just need our breath. Again, lean forward into that right leg. There you are. Curl your arms in. You can keep the elbows low if you need to. Lunge that right knee forward. Give me little squeezes down. This is your last push on your right leg. I want you in that space where you don't know if you can hang on. Little squeezes down. You guys, we don't have to stand up after this. Little squeezes down. I mean, we do have to stand up. We don't have to go back to full range. Little squeezes down. Stay low, stay low, stay low. 7 seconds. Little squeezes down for 5 more seconds. Both feet step up. Squat with a bicep curl. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, shake that off. And then stepping closer to your back platform, if you're on your super lunge, you could just bring your feet inside the straps and squat facing left or right, doesn't matter. We're gonna curl the arms as we sit down nice and low into, yes, Jessica, into a nice deep squat. And then you're rising up. You can give your butt a little squeeze at the top, keep the tailbone anchored down. The higher you keep your elbows, the heavier it's gonna feel. The further you step back, the heavier it's gonna feel. If you were in super lunge, and you're squatting at the front, you don't have your cables in your hands, but you can always grab that red pole, add it in. You know what? Sometimes you don't even need any body weight, or you need just your body weight. You can squeeze your biceps as hard as you want. Nice and slow, no holds, no challenges. The only challenge, my friends, is to not take that break at the top. And I'm not saying don't straighten your legs. I'm saying less hesitation at the top. Get right back into that next one. Only thing we're gonna change is I want you to start to go a little bit faster now. So down and up, big full range of motion. Not losing your good form, not losing that bicep intensity, but just kind of pushing, digging in a little bit. We're gonna take it into the core from here. You have 15 more seconds, digging in. Now, if you're at the front right now squatting because you were in your super lunge, you're gonna need to make a bigger transition around to the back. Make sure you change to one yellow spring. We're gonna be in giant wheelbarrow. So facing the front, knees on the back platform, modification at the front. In 3, 2, 1. Good job. Ditch your cables. Make sure you're on one yellow, especially if you're at the back. Hands on the 8 and the 10. Hips press forward. We're in a modified plank. Now just hold this modified plank here for a second. First kind of planking action of the day. Squeeze your butt, lift through the core, and then start to saw from the shoulders. So your hands slide forward out in front of you. Difficult big wheelbarrow here at the back. The focus is keeping your spine in this nice long neutral shape. You're challenging that as you let your arms slide in front of you. So the shoulders, the back muscles, the triceps are your movers. The core, the abdominals are the focus. If this is pulling, if there's pressure in your back, lift a little higher, or like I said, you can always take it up to the front. Anything at the front is going to be a little easier than at the back because we have the help of the springs rather than pulling against the springs. Shoulders depressed, neck stays long, it's a constant adjustment. The one thing that goes for me right away in this exercise is the butt squeeze. Clench your butt cheeks, engage your freaking hips. It's a heavy situation right in the middle of your body, your pelvis, your hips. Engage there so you feel stronger. You have 11 seconds. I've got no holds coming, no challenges, no pulses, nothing fancy. 5 seconds, we bring it in for push-ups. In 3, I would stay on my knees if it were me. In 2 and 1. So pull in nice and slow right into those push-ups. If you need it on your toes, come on up. Super slow. Feel your heart rate rise, right? We went squat with a bicep curl, no break, right into that big wheelbarrow, right into some body weight push-ups. Go slow. Challenge yourself to go lower. I'm gonna get you off your wrists right after this. Remember, squeeze those butt cheeks. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep the rib cage lifting into your back. Navel to spine. Inner thighs are squeezing. It's 5. You're going to be down on your elbows. This looks perfect, Jess. Kneeling crunch in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So bring your elbows down and then first slide out into your modified plank, just like you did in wheelbarrow. Squeeze your butt. Pull in on your core. Shoulders depressed towards your hips. And then keeping the shoulders stacked over the elbows, start to round and tuck your core in. Tucking, 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 rounding, stopping about there. Try not to let your shoulders lean over in front of your elbows. And then resist as you slide it all the way out. Nice. Exhale, big, slow, rounding action. Pull up, tuck, 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 tuck. And then resist it as you slide out. Awesome. We're already halfway there. I've got one more challenge here for you at the back. And this is, again, a great opportunity to take it to the front if you're just not there right now. On any given day. Depends on how you slept, depends on what you ate, depends on maybe what you did yesterday or the day before. Last 10 seconds. Awesome. Next one, I want you to bring it about halfway in. Hold it nice and strong. Hips are still forward of your knees. Give me a little pulse up, up. We're coming into bear right here at the back in 3. Hands up, toes up in 2 and 1. Awesome. Bring your hands up, tuck your toes, slide right out to that plank so we keep these abs working. We keep that heart rate rising. Begin to bend your knees. Awesome form, Jessica. Knees slide under the hips and then you slide it all the way out. The slower you go, I promise, the better. We're moving right on through. The clock starts immediately as soon as that last exercise ended. So we're already just about halfway through it. If there's pressure in your back, you take it to the front. If you need to get off your wrist, you take it to your elbows. Yes, it's harder down there. If you are gassing, spend more time holding. Big inhales, big exhales. One thing you want to see here is Jess bends her knees, her hips stay right at the height of her shoulders. That's hard. Squeezing, I love how she adds that hold, and then even slower on the way out. We're gonna make our way up to the front. You only have 10 seconds. We're gonna take it up to the front. If you're not already there, we're gonna come right into the wheelbarrow at the front in 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it on up to the front. 2 yellows easier. Hands front platform, knees near the 3, hips drop forward, back into that modified plank. Feel the difference, right? Feel the difference front to back. The spring interaction. Same movement you just did when we were at the back. Feels a little bit softer here at the front. To me, it just feels spicy at this point. I'm like, I already did this. Abs are nice and tight. Hips are solid. Your butt is squeezing. Your outer hips are hugging in. Your uppermost inner thighs, squeeze them more intensely. Like fuse your freaking legs together. Every single time you pull forward, try to drop your shoulders away from your ears. Try to re-engage around the armpits. Try to grip with your fingers. It's a constant adjustment, everybody. One breath, one movement at a time. On your next one, let's slide it out for a hold. I don't care how far you go. Hold it out there. Maybe lift from the head, lift from the core, squeeze your butt, hold it out there. Ooh, I know, hold it out, hold it out. So strong, Jessica, to press those shoulders. Yes, hold it out there. I know, 5 more seconds, hold it out. Maybe it slides out a little bit further, so strong. 3, 2, full range. Last 10 seconds, 1 more push. It's up to you if you want this on your hands or your elbows. I personally prefer it on my hands. It's a little easier for my shoulders and my abs. It's plank to pike in 3, 2, 1. Hands up, tuck your toes, extend your legs back. Could be done on the forearms. It's just a little bit more intense. Slowly as you can. That is your only challenge here. I'm looking for about 10 seconds up. Your heels have to stay lifted. If you start to lift and your heels drop back, let that be where you stop. Right now, with my front-loaded body, I maybe only lift like an inch or 2 out of my plank, right? So it doesn't necessarily, higher is not necessarily better here. We want the integrity of the shape of the spine, and we don't want your legs to take over. If your heels are dropping, I know that you're starting to feel it more in the front of your thighs than you are in your abs. It's about maintaining that shape of your spine. Nice and slow. Right about now, you should be feeling like, all right, how much freaking longer? A little bit longer. This is where we finish off the abs. We're gonna take it right into some upper body from here to open the chest up after all these planks and bicep curls. Nice and slow. So you noticed we went bicep curl to bicep curl to bicep curl with that express to stationary to squat with a bicep curl. I know you have 15 seconds. I've got no holds, no challenges. We've got a quick transition coming. We're gonna be facing the back with your black cables for chest opener. So your knees are gonna be down on the carriage. There's a spring change first in 4, 3, 2, 1. So strong. I would say 3 to 4 yellows, 2 if you're modifying. Grab your black cables and set your knees down onto the carriage. Knees on the number 6, right in the middle of the carriage. Pick your butt up off your heels, and then start by squeezing your core. Bring your hands down right next to your hips, and I kind of want you to think just for a second about that 100 we did when we were laying on your back. So first, pull the core in. Every time your arms come back next to your hips, think ribs in. And then as you exhale, begin to squeeze your shoulder blades. You're reaching down as much as you're pushing back. Your head stays stacked right on top of your shoulders. Beautiful form, Jess. And it does not need to be a big range of motion. Less is more when we're working these posture muscles, the posterior chain, engaging that whole back body. If you needed to make it lighter, right from where you are, you don't need to touch your springs. You can scoot forward towards your springs. That makes it lighter. You can grab the longer straps that are dangling from your cables down there. Makes it much lighter. All good, right? Super slow. Super strong. Keep depressing the shoulders. Make it a constant adjustment. Just like I said in wheelbarrow. When your arms are up over here, we're depressing the shoulders. When your hands are down here, depress your shoulders. I have to adjust every half of a second, literally. Nice and strong. Core is real tight. Your butt is squeezing. Make it that full body effort. In this one, no holds, no challenges. We're gonna take it into newspaper from here. So we're gonna continue working the shoulders in the next one. We're gonna cross the cables first. You have 8 more seconds here, so push it if you can. Breathing in, breathing out. Crossing the cables, your knees will stay where they are, your elbows anchored to your ribs in 3, 2, 1. So cross your cables, you could scooch forward, you could scooch back. You could even sit down on your heels for this one, totally. Elbows start right in line with your shoulders, anchored to your ribs. Your hands start right in line with your elbows. So not narrower than your elbows, but right in line. So you already feel tension on the shoulder, the rotator cuff, rear deltoid, before you start to open out, just like chest opener. Remember, in chest opener, you're not letting your hands release up here, you're keeping that constant tension. Here, when your arms come back together, you're trying not to go to the point where it feels like a break. We want constant tension. It closely correlates with why we're moving this slowly, right? Rib cage anchors in, good adjustment. Tailbone stays kind of reaching down though, so arch your lower back a little bit. Yeah, right there in the middle. Perfect. Elbows a little closer to your sides all the way through. Legit a constant adjustment, like every 3 seconds. It's a hard one. Try to relax some tension out of your jaw, out of the traps, out of the scalenes in the front of your neck. Keep it soft in your face, right? Next one, let's start to open our arms out. And let's just try to hold it there for this first one. Elbows are tight to your sides still. Your forearms are still parallel to the floor. Your ribs are still in. Your tailbone is still reaching back. Good adjustments. Hold it and breathe. Can you open a little bit further, but keep breathing through that fire you are building in your shoulders. We're back to full range. Ooh, feels so good. Keep those front ribs in. Nice. So it's super hard, and it's hard to see on my body right now, to pull your front ribs in, but to keep your tailbone out of that tuck, right? It's hard. It's super hard. It's like real hard. Next one, open your arms out. This is where we finish this one off. It's gonna burn. I know. Close your eyes if you need to. Try to pull out a little bit further. Yeah, really burning. Shoulders are still depressed. Abs are still in. 7 seconds, I know. Abs in. Could you pull it back further without straining your face? 4 seconds. Sexy back in 3, 2, 1. Good job. Uncross your cables unless you mean it. Crossed cables equals heavier cables. Hips are still dropping back, but you don't want to sit down on your heels for this one. Let's engage those legs again. Leaning forward more might make this easier for you to tap into the middle back, the middle of the shoulder blades. It's called sexy back, so that can be a little bit confusing because you are feeling most of the work, like the movement, coming through the back of the arm, the tricep. The other parts that are working, your back muscles, are working more isometrically, like your shoulders are holding, your rhomboids are holding, your lats are holding. Big exhale with every extension. I'm gonna tell you right now, no holds, no challenges. Just like the chest opener, you're just gonna roll right on through. I'm gonna give you a couple ways to challenge yourself. Hold your arms a little bit longer when they're straight. Really feel it there. Feel how the shoulders can still depress. Feel how the ribs like to flare even here. Feel what your legs are doing, squeeze them tighter. Next challenge is try to go a little bit slower, for sure. That one's kind of obvious. The hardest challenge, I think, is to bend your elbows less. When you're bending them, don't let your hands come all the way forward. Stop your hands when they're right next to your thighs still, right? Like right here. And then going all the way straight. So you're keeping a heavier tension. Last 12 seconds. This time we'll keep the cable in your left hand. We're gonna go right into scrambled eggs. 6 more seconds. So 2 yellows, 3 is heavier, 4 is crazy town. Left strap in, 3, 2, 1. Good job. So ditch the right one, keep the left one, adjust your spring load. 2 yellows, 3 is harder, 4 is crazy. Scoot your right knee towards the left side. Extend your left leg straight back behind you. Take a second to level your shoulders to square your hips. And then start to sweep that left leg down and forward towards the floor. Yep, good. Doesn't matter how big your range of motion is, your left leg sweeps up and back. The hardest part is you don't want to lean to your right. So strong left arm, strong right butt, and right inner thigh. Yeah, so strong, Jess. Super slow movements. Think a lot about hugging your outer hips inwards. Think a lot about that upper body work. Try to evenly engage around both shoulder blades here. Big full breaths. Your shoulders are pretty much over your wrist line, but if you're leaning forward of your right hip, push back with your hands a little bit so your right hip is right over your right knee. Looks solid. A couple more here, and then we'll start to get into those little micro challenges. Shoulders look perfect, Jess. You'll see her gaze is down and forward, so you don't want to drop your chin onto your chest. Happens to the best of us, Jessica. And then you also don't want to look forward so that your chin is dropping to the floor and you're kinking the back of your neck. 8 more seconds here. Feels so good. Awesome. Ooh, look at that high leg. Yeah, the higher you lift the leg out to the side, the more you're going to feel that outer left butt cheek. And this is kind of both obliques and booty. Next one, sweep your left leg back behind you. Hold it back there. Now take a second. Lift up through your lower core. Squeeze that left butt cheek, strong arms. 1 inch down left leg. 1 inch up. Squeezing that bun. Imagine you have the bungee on there with your straight leg. 1 inch down. 1 inch up. Good. Now hold it up. Squeeze your obliques real tight and give me little tiny circles in one direction. You've got to go slow, you guys, so things aren't bouncing around here. You're trying to hold it all together for 3. We switch directions in 2 and 1. Go the other way. Big breaths, big strong arms here. 6 seconds. Smaller controlled movements for 4. Spider kick, about 1 red, 2, 3, or 4 yellows. In 2 and 1. Good job. So unstrap yourself. Jess knows where we're going this time. Left heel is on the bar. You're facing to your left. Right knee about the white line. Shoulders nice, level, and square. Now, I didn't mention it on the first side. Oopsie. If this feels like a whole lot of hamstring cramping for you, I just want you to take a quarter turn to your right so your hands kind of grip more on the corner of the carriage. It's halfway between a donkey and a spider. So this is spider kick. I know it is confusing because we have a spider lunge, and then we also have a side kick, which is what she was going for. And honestly, I prefer that one, but this is slightly less spicy. We'll take it. So let's run that scan. This is an easy exercise to not do correctly or to just not feel intensely. A little bit easier than, say, side kicks, because you're on your right knee, you're not standing up, you got your arms to help. You want your heel on the bar. We're trying to take a direct line into that left booty. So if you are quad dominant, meaning you tend to work your front of your thighs more than the back of your legs, it's not the weirdest thing ever, you have to intentionally squeeze the muscle you want to work while you're trying to build this kind of symmetry in your body. On your next ones, keep the heel on the bar, start to bend your left knee in like a lot, like as much as you can bend it without letting your spine start to round towards the floor. So long in the spine. Now squeeze that left butt cheek and push into your heel, send it out just 1 inch. Yeah. And then come in just that 1 inch, and then do it again. Squeeze your butt cheek intentionally, flex, and then push it out 1 inch. Good. And then in 1 inch, we're almost there. Push it out 1 inch, 5 seconds. Strong arms, long neck, tight core for 3. 2, take it back to full range. You're pushing all the way out, you're coming all the way in. You have a big transition in 8 seconds. We're gonna come into back lunge. Last 6 seconds. So you need 1 yellow. We're traveling up to the back. Your left foot hops the platform. 3, 2, 1. Good job. So drop into 1 yellow. Take it up to the back. Left foot hops the platform. Right foot hooks up with the strap. You could modify at the front with regular floor lunge or front floor lunge. Gonna start to square the hips first. Make sure your hip bones point straight ahead. Left toes point straight ahead. As you begin to bend down into your left knee, you want to make sure that the knee is right over the ankle through the movement. So it's your hips that travel back and down, not your knee traveling forward. That's knee stability. Ankle stability is also balance. It's also holy hamstring burn. Good stuff. Nice slow movements, trying to keep that bend in the knee at the top. Now, we talked about it before, start to push yourself to get just a fraction lower, just a little bit lower at your edge. If you feel pressure in your back at all, pulling in your lower back, definitely lean a little bit more forward. If you just feel like you're not connected to your core, maybe like you're arching a little bit, lean a little bit forward. If your right hip is on fire or you feel most of this lift from the front of your right thigh, bend the right knee a little bit or lean a little bit forward. Good. Next time, start to come all the way down to the bottom. Sit back into your left heel. Good adjustment. And now we just hold it here. It's a big hold. Keep trying to lift your arms off the bars. Push heavier into the earth. Push your left heel down into the floor. Intentionally squeeze both of your butt cheeks. See if you can sink a little bit lower. Just a few seconds. Take an inhale. Good. Come up only 1 inch and hold it there. 3 seconds. See if you can lighten up on your hands. Take an inhale. Come up 1 more inch. Hold it right there. Just 1 inch. 3 seconds. Good. Come up 1 more inch. Hold it right there. 3 seconds. Try to balance. Push heavier into the heel. Now all the way down. Yes. To come all the way back up. Last 10 seconds here. We're going to take this right into our express lunge. So you're going to bend your right knee, keeping your foot hooked, so that you can easily grab those cables without hurting your back. In 3, 2, 1. So keep your right foot hooked, bend your right knee in, carefully reach down, grab your reds, and then use the black handlebars to step your left foot onto the platform. Right leg extends back, right heel lifts up really high, and then when you're ready, we start to lunge down into the left leg. Feels delightful. Hips are still squared up, your right butt, squeeze it so you feel where it's at, so it's not like a blank space back there. You got your cables here in your arms, so try not to straighten your left knee at the top. Big inhales and big exhales. Got 1 more lunge coming for you, and we are coming down the mountain after that. A little secret, you don't even have to do that squat with a bicep curl again. Huh. That was just a one-sided thing. Good, slow, steady. Push yourself to get a little bit lower again. Push yourself to cultivate that core work at the bottom. At the bottom, you hug your outer hips in. You close the rib cage. You feel your obliques work. We haven't gotten to them yet. They're coming, I promise. 10 seconds. We start that challenge. We start with a hold, and then we're going to take those 3 slow reps together. Good. Come all the way down on your next one, and let's just hold it here. Breathe. Shoulders are depressed. Your heel is heavy, your toes could wiggle, your back heel is high, your inner thighs are squeezing. Just a few more seconds, stay with it. Can you get a little bit lower? Open up your collarbones, lengthen out your neck. Good, take an inhale, push through the heel, rise up for 8, real slow. 7, yeah, just 6, 5, knee is still over the ankle. 4, don't lock it. 3, 2, right back down. 7, 6, stay with it. 5, all the way low. 4, you're coming down still. 3, 2, sink it lower on 1. Let's hold it here. Breathe. Right hip a little bit forward. Yes, perfect adjustment. Can you get a little lower? 3 more seconds holding. So strong, Jess. Take an inhale, push to the heel, rise up. 8, 7, 6, 5, slower. 4, 3, right back down. 7, 6, all the way, low as you can get. Last time like this. 4, 3, 2, we hold it around 1. Feels so good, Jessica. Hold it here, 5 more seconds. Push yourself, get into that deeper spot. Use those arms if you need. 3 seconds. Here we go, let's rise up. 8, 7, last time like this. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, right back down. Last 15 seconds. We're going to be stepping off the back from here. We've got our stationary lunge coming up from here. So again, if you don't have room at the back, you're going to take your super lunge, probably 4 yellows or 1 red for the bicep curl. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good fight. So carefully stepping off the back. I'm going to give Jessica 2 yellows. And then left foot forward, right toes back. The closer you are to your machine, the lighter the springs will feel. And then we're going to bend the knees. Curling the arms, coming down. So like Jessica, I like to keep my elbows, I don't lift them up high. starts to get into my shoulders. It'll make me come out of it. You want to keep those front ribs hugging in. So you can keep your elbows low. That is all good. And then if you want a little more, when you're at the bottom, hold it a second and maybe lift your elbows a little higher for that extra spice. Slow, steady. Last lunge. Gotta hit some. Our final core block is coming. We'll get a little center abs and we'll get a little bit of obliques as well. Right about now, you need to open up the breathing, right? Let your heart rate come up, but keep that fresh oxygenated blood coming to your muscles. Big inhales and exhales like you're working out. It's hard, right? Use it, push it. Sneaky cardiovascular class. Every class when we're on this machine, when we're going really slow. These are endurance muscle fibers we're working. So even though we're going slow, it creates a very low impact, easy on the joint cardiovascular situation. It's the good stuff. 8 seconds, we're gonna come down to the bottom. In 5, all the way down in 3, 2, hold it low. Lunge forward into that left knee a little bit, knee over the ankle. Yeah, you could lean a little forward here if you need. Hold it. Hold it, just 3 seconds, I know. Now very slow, only 10 seconds, just those arms. Straightening and curling. Try to get a little lower into that left leg. We're almost there, you've got it. Yes, curl your arms in, look at those guns, Jessica, hold it. Lunge that left knee forward, it's right over the ankle. Feel the back of your butt cheek burn when you do that. Slow, strong breaths. Little squeeze down. This is where we finish it off. Don't stand up, get lower. Little squeeze down. Chin is off your chest, your breathing is deep, your heel is pushing into the floor. Lower, lower, lower. Make that movement real small. Stay low. Stay low. Yes, Jess, we're under 10. 9, no more full range. 8, no more squats either. 5, super crunch. 1 yellow, 2 is harder. 3, 2, 1. Good job. So sitting on your back platform, 1 yellow spring, most likely 2 is harder, toes to the strap. It's like a break, Jessica. It's like a break. Pull your knees into your chest, sit up nice and tall, squeeze your buns, your inner thighs, and then start to lean yourself back. Now, I hear a lot of classes, heels, toes, knees, squeezing together like you've got one leg. If that's what you always do, your heels and your toes and your knees together, maybe try moving your feet hips distance apart or an inch apart or 2 inches. See what the difference is. What is all this fuss about with squeezing your legs together? I don't know. Not sure. So try it. See what happens. Maybe you find a different sensation. Personally, my knees together right now. I'm just going to kick my belly. So the knees are not together in the bear or the pike or the super crunch. Try to keep the neck long as you lean back. Try not to let the chin dip towards your chest. I've got no holds, no challenges. We're just moving straight on through here. We're going to be taking it up to the front of the machine. After this, we're going to go right into the right side oblique. So teaser is coming up at the front. About 20-30 seconds left here. As you make your way to the front, you can pop on a second yellow. If you feel like teaser, you could do French twist at the back. If you're like, I like it at the front, but I need it to be a little harder at the front, you could level it down on the bars. You could bring it to the lower bars or to the platform harder. Last 6 seconds here, you're choosing right now. You're gonna be working that right side. So right foot crosses your left foot. Whichever direction you're facing, your toes point to the left. In 3, 2, 1. So up at the front, teaser with 2 yellows is easier. French twist at the back is harder. Right foot crosses your left. Hands up on your high bars, the low bars, or on the platform. It's all good. We're piking through the right side of the waist. You want to try to keep your hips turned as much to the left as you can, so you feel the lifting above that right hip bone. Arms are strong. Soften through your elbows. If you want it to be a little bit harder for your upper body, you can see how Jessica has her shoulders shifted back behind the wrist line. That's harder. Your heart rate's going to rise too. The more muscles you get involved, the more cardiovascular it becomes. And that's kind of the beauty of this class, is almost every exercise is a full body effort. If it's not, you want to try to make it one. Slide it all the way out on your next one and hold it there for me. Spend a second first. Squeeze the right side of waist more. Squeeze your butt cheeks, engage your inner thighs. Internally rotate your thighs. Depress your shoulders. Push down into your palms, and now lift 1 inch up, squeezing that right side waist. It might be less than an inch. It might be slightly more than an inch. Go 1 inch down. This is where we finish off this side. 1 inch up. Good. 1 inch down. You're almost there. 1 inch up. Yep, 1 inch down. You have 8 seconds. You gotta breathe. You gotta fight for it. In 5, we bring it down for a dancing bear on both sides. In 3, it's gonna be so fun, Jess. 2 and 1. So uncross your feet, hands on your platform. Toes are pretty much where they were. They're just not crossed. Extend out to your plank and then alternate from side to side. Bend your knees into the left. You'll feel that right side waist again. Extend all the way back out to your plank. Your neck stays long. Your shoulders stay over the wrists. And then you bend your knees off to the right elbow. Really slow movements, really focused engagement. Kind of like we talked about in spider lunge. Squeeze the muscle you want to work. Put your energy where it's needed. You'll see Jessica's shoulders stay perfectly level. So if you're bending your knees too much to one side, that's where your shoulders start to kind of dip to one side. You want no transfer of weight in your upper body. Looking good, everybody. Let's just try to slow it down even more. Perfect these movements for these last 15 seconds. We're coming down onto your elbows from here. If you're totally dying, maybe come onto your knees as well. Otherwise, you're in a low plank on your elbows in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elbows down. You could be on your knees. You could be on your toes. It's up to you. If your form is compromised, that's when you train your body to back off. You don't be hard on yourself if you need to come to your knees. You just check down for the day, right? And you can always come back up to your toes when you're ready. Now we're really slow. We're going to add in a little combo here. So first part of the combo, slide your shoulders back for a little saw. Pull forward and then focus on keeping your shoulders level. You're going to roll your hips to one side. Yes, perfect shoulders, Jess. Squeeze that side of the waist. Roll back to center. Roll over to the other side. Roll back to center and then saw your shoulders again. When you pull forward, start with the other side. So shoulders pull forward. If you went right first side, go left now. Yep. Roll it, shoulders stay level. Come back to center, roll it to the other side. And when you've finished it off, take that saw again. Last seconds here. Dig it in. If you can come back up to your toes, try. If not, like you don't have to just let me pressure you. You can be where you are, right? Last 8, 7, 6. It's left side teaser in 4. I know. 3, 2, 1. So strong. Bringing it on up, hands up on those high bars. Left foot crosses the right foot. Shoulders are level square. And then the legs slide back. Woo. We're going to start to pike up through that left side waist. Your hips ideally stay rotated to the right. Shoulders could slide behind the wrist line like Jessica has. Much, much harder on the upper body. Keep your shoulders stacked if you need it. Leveling it up or down, hands up on the high bars, a little easier. Feet closer to the front edge, a little easier. Hands on the lower set of bars, getting that level up. Hands all the way on the front platform is like being in a pike. So pick your poison, give 20 seconds, squeeze your butt cheeks, squeeze your inner thighs. Think about internal rotation. Remember when we had our feet in the straps and I wanted your toes pointed inwards-ish or your thighs rotated inwards? This is internal rotation in your thighs right now. Your legs are crossed like this. Slide it out on your next one. Hold it there for me. And then let's just take a second to really strengthen it. Squeeze your left side waist. Mean it. Squeeze it. Hold it there. Squeeze your butt cheeks, your inner thighs. And now slowly, strong arms. 1 inch up and 1 inch down. This is where you finish this sky off. 1 inch up. Take it 1 inch down, so strong. 1 inch up, we turn around, elbows on the carriage, plank in 3, 2, 1. Good job. So turn around, face the back. Bring your elbows down, tuck your toes, or you're on your knees. This is where we finish. We're under 60 seconds already. Now, if this is okay with your shoulders, your body, your mind, any of it, start to army crawl. Army crawling forward, 1 elbow at a time. Awesome. Trying to keep your hips really square. Awesome, about 10 more seconds here. Under 30 seconds left in class. In 7 seconds, I'm gonna have you come back up to your hands and you're gonna step your feet out a little bit wider. In 3, 2, hold, awesome transition. Just step your feet out wider. Make sure your feet aren't gonna fall into the holes. Shoulder taps. Left hand right, right hand left. You're very fancy. Yeah, opposite shoulders, there you go. Trying to keep the hips really level as you move. Squeeze those butt cheeks so tight. Yup, good. Now, if you can go faster, I want you to, for 8. This is it, right here. Woo, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Take a child's pose. Maybe you put your feet back in the straps, get a little stretch. Maybe you take a hamstring stretch or a pigeon stretch at the front. Whatever you need,